This video is a 7-minute overview of the lending process, starting when your offer gets accepted, going step by step all the way through to closing. But it's not generic. It's specific to me and my team. And if we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Julee Felsman, a residential loan officer with a mortgage company called Rate. And I'm recording this overview mostly because it's something I'd like to have as a resource if I was my own client. And I hope framing up the process at a high level is helpful, but don't try to memorize all the details. There isn't going to be a test. And as we work through the process together, we're going to guide you every step of the way and do our best to anticipate questions, answer them as they come up, and then provide other resources right in the moment as the information is relevant. So if you take away just 2 things from this video, that's really enough. One is keep a close eye out for messages from me and my teammates. And if you're bad about checking your personal email, please step up your game between now and closing. And 2, when one of our team requests a document or a piece of information, please send it within 24 to 48 hours. That cadence will just about guarantee a stress-free mortgage process. But if we need something that's going to take a little bit more time, we understand sometimes some documents take a little longer, just keep us posted and we'll work with you to make sure that everything stays on track to close on time. So, are you ready to hear about the journey ahead? First, I want to pause and say, no matter how speedy or lengthy your home search was, getting your offer accepted is a huge milestone, so congratulations. Now, we're going to talk about the loan process, and I think it's helpful to think of it as having 2 parts. The first is numbers and loan stuff, and the second is the execution, the paperwork, and the logistics that are necessary to get your loan set up and to closing. And our team's going to guide you through both parts of the process. You've already been talking to me and the other loan partners on our team. We're in charge of numbers and loan details. And when your sales agreement comes in, we get to firm up your down payment and your monthly payment and your interest rate and your closing costs and those other important details. So as soon as we get your purchase agreement, we're going to share a calendar link to schedule a call to review those updated numbers, answer questions, talk about the process, and unless there's a reason to hold off, we'll probably lock in your interest rate. And once we have the numbers buttoned up, then our focus is going to shift over to paperwork and logistics. And this is not a shift you're going to miss because it comes with a big old wad of paperwork. As we make the handoff to our processing team, you'll receive an email inviting you to sign your initial application and disclosure. So keep a close eye out for this message, follow the link, and sign those initial disclosures as soon as you get the chance. They are the official kickoff to your loan, and as a result, they're time sensitive. The initial application that you're going to scroll through and sign does get some editing and some fine-tuning along the way. So if you see anything that needs to be updated, just make a note as you're scrolling through and signing things. We're going to get a final updated version of the application to you, which you'll sign at closing. Now, after signing the initial application, we're going to send you another link that you can use to pay your application deposit, and that's what lets us order your appraisal. Getting these 2 chores taken care of as quickly as you can is the key to a smooth and timely transaction. So be on the lookout for the messages and the links and take care of those chores within 48 hours or less. From this point forward, you're going to be in the excellent hands of our processing team. And we use 2 tracks for processing loans: traditional processing and what we call same-day mortgage. We'll choose the track that's appropriate and most efficient for your type of loan. If your loan goes the traditional route, you'll have a pair of processors who work sequentially. First, you're going to hear from your mortgage consultant. Your MC is going to review the paperwork that we have already, the information we already know, and if there are any updates or additional documents, they'll request those. Once you've signed your application and paid your deposit, and you and your MC have the paperwork wrestled into submission, your file's going to head off to underwriting. And while we wait for underwriting, which is where it gets approved, there's going to be a little lull in the action. And if you haven't already taken care of doing so, this is the perfect time to set up your homeowner's insurance. Because when your file comes back to underwriting, we have a little more work to do. That initial approval that we get is called conditional. And the conditions on your initial approval are our marching orders. They're the things that we need to do to close your loan. And this is the point where your second processor takes over, your loan consultant. The LC will let you know if there are any conditions that we need from you or need your help with, and they will also send you a copy of your appraisal report as soon as that rolls in. Helping your LC with any documentation that we need as quickly as you can, again with that 24 to 48 hour cadence, is really our goal. As soon as the conditions are together, your LC gets to send everything back to underwriting for review, and once the underwriter signs off, we'll be clear to close. But before I talk about what comes next, I want to talk about the other processing track, which is called same-day mortgage. It works just a little bit differently. If your loan goes to the same-day mortgage team, you'll work directly with one of our associate underwriters, and the underwriter will review the paperwork we already have, request any updated information or documents that we need, review and sign off on everything themselves. And once the underwriter has everything they need, they'll sign off on the last item and we'll have our clearance to close. And this means closing is right around the corner, and whichever track your loan was on, this is where our closing department takes over. They prepare your loan documents and they send them to the closing agent. That's an escrow officer at a title company, or in some parts of the country, it'll be an attorney. And that closing agent takes over from there. They'll reach out to schedule your signing. They'll usually have you sign loan documents a business day or two before your closing date, so keep that in mind as you're planning schedules. And the escrow officer can also let you know exactly how much money to bring in, and that'll be net of your earnest money and net of your deposit with us. The funds for closing, we like to have those to the settlement agent at least a business day before your closing date, and they must be in certified form. You've got to send funds to closing as a cashier's check or a wire transfer. If you're planning on sending a wire, let us share some tips with you on how to send wires securely. Wire fraud is a real concern, and we don't want any of our clients falling victim to it. Now, if any of the money that you'll be using for closing isn't already liquid and local to where you're going to be buying, think through lead times for liquidating funds and check with your bank on the logistics for sending funds to close. We've had a few clients who've been stuck with an out-of-state bank that wants an in-person wire request, which is more than a little bit inconvenient. Timing-wise, we recommend having your funds liquid and in a checking or savings account that you can wire out of at least 10 business days prior to your closing date. Now, once you liquidate your funds, you deliver your funds to the settlement agent and you sign, you're done, and everything else will happen behind the scenes. On the day of closing, we send loan funds to the title company. Once the title company has the loan funds, they can record deeds with the county, and you bought a house. Remember, we're with you every step of the way to be your guide, to answer your questions, to be a resource for whatever you need, and we'll be keeping you posted, and we'll shade in lots more details as we move through the process together. We are honored to be your lender and excited to be along for the ride. Congratulations again, and here we go.